So now we'll do the exact same thing on the other side, just that the angle is slightly leaning towards the other way. So okay. So the dovetails are now done. They are fairly accurate. I mean, as long as I can do some minor hammer tapping during glue up and get to my exact angle, uh, they're perfect. And at the end, I will just clean these up. Now I have to work on uh, the drawer back, which would be like housing dado joint, which is typical of traditional drawers. The reason being, we usually don't make dovetails at the back is because, like, if it is like to make sure that this is kind of full extension drawers, you want to have a little bit of overhang there, so that you pull the drawer out till this point and it still holds from the that part. That's the typical standard. So I leave like an inch, maybe 3/4, 7/8, somewhere around that. Now the important thing right now is I need to gauge the length of each of these sides. How do I do that? So I will just use the reality there. I will use a piece of stick to find the depth, and then that depth in an ideal situation is supposed to be in my half blind dovetails. Once I cut the arc, there will be a 1/4 inch here. So from that 1/4 inch line to that length, that should ideally be the length. So I will go for that. I will mark like a pencil line quarter of an inch from this end, and cut this off. Now at the end, like if there I have to do some micro adjustment due to like any variance, I can still cut a little bit more piece. If at all I am shorter, I can leave a little bit more from here. Like it doesn't have to be like, instead of 1/4 inch, if it is like slightly 1/16 of an inch more, that's fine with me. It won't matter. So that's what I am going to do. So I had used a previous piece of stick here which already has a mark. Good that I double checked. 1/4 inch mark from the end of my dovetails. I will go ahead and mark this in, like draw the pencil, and I could use the my finger as a gauge, because it's a don't need it to be like accurate at this point of time. Double checking again. I want to leave a little bit more rather than less. Yeah. So I'm not cutting this off, this portion yet, as I explained. So now I will use this stick again, double checking, because there are a couple of marks here. Yeah, this is the one. So I put this stick in here. Exactly at the mark, I will put a small knife nick. Now I will need to cut that piece off. So I will that's the left side. Let me take this apart now. Now for the right side. I think a good idea is to connect that piece and then take the measurement. I'll do that. This dovetail is very tight. Good thing is that the centerpiece is tight, which has less chances of cracking. Let me get a measurement again. I should have a, yeah, I already have a mark. Let me see if that's the, and then the same thing I have to, now this side, am I 1/4 inch there? Just double checking. Yeah, that's fine. So I'll take this apart and just I will double check with my other drawer piece, since I have already made it, just to make sure that they should be around the same length. Okay, I recollect now. So I will do the layout for the dados, but I will not chop the dados yet because I have to make the grooves for the bottom. So I have to assemble it again. Yeah. Let me square these lines since I am already here. So now I will just keep my dado layout ready. Unlike a square drawer, I'm not going to measure off of this. So I'll try to align those two lines. Like basically, like when this drawer goes in, the back surface that's going to, like, this side is going to remain parallel. So I have to align those two endpoints. Lightly clamp this in and then hammer tap this so that they are flush. So I could take like 3/4 maybe, because this is a very small drawer. Normally, like I've seen 1 inch. Let me take something in between, 7/8. So I put a knife mark like spanning both. I can just slightly deepen it. That's it. Like that little mark is the initial mark for the housing dado, and then I'll put like cross this side on the other side, because I want to be chopping the dados from that side, not on this side. So I will assemble it again, plane the bottom flush, then work on the grooves, which is real fun. So what I am trying to do here, trying to see like this is like all good. This side looks very good. So this side, and I may have to do some cleanup. And I had marked that this is my bottom, so I have to remember and put that mark back again. I will take a long sole plane. Just helps with a better registration, but absolutely can be done with a number 4. Taking a shallow set. I think that is pretty good. I don't want to take too much. So this side. Let me clamp it. Try to do. I was just trying to plane it that way so that, because I was not blocking the camera. That's it. So I will put this registration marks back in. This is the bottom. And then I want to be making my grooves here. So just as a reminder to me to cut the grooves on this side. Careful. So I will be making the grooves first on this one. My idea is that the grooves should be within the this dovetail recess. I had it set from the previous thing, so it is all right. Let's see, opening again the grain. I keep saying this, like supili, when the grain is like in your favor, it's such a joy to work. I could take a deeper thing and it could be faster, but I will stick to this setting. I am to the depth for the most part of it. The beginning part, it's always like little bit difficult, so I have to angle slightly. Yeah, now it's just getting through. I am to the depth. Ash is more tenacious, definitely. I mean, that's what I feel. And to make it slightly more difficult for me, this one doesn't fit, so I have to shim it here. I think I am done with my work on my combination plane. I can pack it off. Yeah, the grooves are done. Now I can start working on the housing dados or the dado joint. So let me lay out one side of that dado that I had marked. I should be registering against the bottom face. So this is what I meant. So the groove is at the bottom, so I should be, sometimes I do forget. Okay, so that's one side. Put a cross here because this side I have to cut. It seems like I have to cut a dado here. I don't want to do that. Mark it this way so that I don't forget. And for now, I will not mark the other side yet, but I will just put a temporary mark. I mean, to guide my chisel. Just extending these marks here so that I can use a marking gauge to mark the depth. That's it. So on this one it is done. Same on this one. So I'll start chopping the outside and then do I go the first one? I can go by hand pressure. This one. So there are various techniques that we use to make sure that when we chop down on it, the wall doesn't move. So one way is to start with like slightly angling, which I've done few times. Another way would be to use the same technique as we do for dovetails. I start like with a chop slightly away. What that does is like two things. So as it moves the wall to the two sides. So this knife wall, it consolidates the fiber and makes it more stronger, less resistance to movement. And also now when I come back to this side and start chopping, there is also a relief like valley created where it's going to rather move that side than move my knife wall. So I can go vertically, but still I don't have to go at an angle now. But still a lighter chop because this is the first. To be frank, like I'm trying this for the first time on a dado joint, so we'll see how. If this works fine, I'll probably prefer this one because there are more chances that we'll get a vertical or I will get a vertical wall rather than the other way. Now that the wall is established, I'm going heavy, slightly heavy. Will I go for one more chop? I think I'm to the depth. Maybe I will go for a light chop, not that heavy, because I feel like I'm almost there. This is just to help with my router plane. Like I don't want the walls to be tearing. Now I see like which side do I want on the inside. Probably this one. So I'll put this like right up against that. It is very critical to get that fully like seated against that, pressed it against that wall, almost going underneath and making that mark. Because if we are if this mark is off on the wrong side, the joint will be very loose. Okay, I have that mark on the other side now, so same thing. I have to remember like which side I used. So this one. So let me put a mark here like cross. This goes up. So if I use it this way, cross, this goes up. So I will not use the knife right now. I'll just go slightly away, make that Now I will go right up against that wall. The only disadvantage of that approach is it makes that hard to view that wall. Like, my eyesight is not that good. I think I may be till depth already. Maybe a little bit on this side. I will take that center part out. Narrow chisel. Now I will take. I know, like, I'm not till depth, but I can I can angle my router plane a little bit to skim over the surface and get to the depth. Careful, like if you are bending too much, then this will hit that groove and it may break off. So careful just there. I am till depth on this side, definitely. That side, I'm just. That's it. Now the thing that matters is the fit. I'll be very happy if it is tight, which it is. So I never want it to be loose. Now I can take a couple of plain swipes and yeah, this is tight, definitely. I don't want to hammer this in, but I was trying to feel how tight it is. See, this is holding it in. So that's what you normally want from dado joint. Now what I will do is like I will take a very thin like shavings from that end, which is the which would be the back side. That much. It's going in a bit too tight. But it's going in. Just looking at here. Should I take a few more shavings, or is the wall not vertical? That's what I was trying to check. Definitely, like planing is way easier, but if my walls are not like clearly not vertical, I want to fix that also. I just created a slight bevel on the front. So that it starts easy. Not sure if I can show you like this side. The wall is not vertical. That's what is seemingly holding off now. Take this out. It will go in if I hammer this in, but it may break also or crack. I don't want to take any more shavings out of it because it's going most of the way. So that is not an issue. Let me secure this in the vise. This side wall is like pretty much like fully vertical. I think that should do the trick. Yeah, it will go in fully. So I am happy with that. One thing I have not done yet is I have not cut this to width. You know what? I have to again assemble again. See how wide do I need, because the front side and the back side will be parallel. Cut this to length and then I can work on the other side. So I'm trying to measure how long this back panel needs to be. So ideally like this will be parallel. If at all any, I want to keep those marginally less. I want to keep those parallel. But better like to keep it ever so slightly like a 32nd of an inch wide, less wide on the back. The reason being, like this has to go inside the drawer opening, but it needs to tighten as it 12 3 by 4, and this is this needs to be tapped in. Yeah, just take your time in this thing. These angles are so critical. Again, I have to do the same thing like while gluing up, but I'm trying to do this right now to get this distance like as close as possible. So this is good. This is like ever so slightly like a 30-second less than 12 3 by 4. This is 12 3 by 4. So now I can register my this back panel, because I have already cut a dado on this side. So I will place this right on top of that, and I will align to that end and place it over here. So I had already marked the depth of the dado joint. So let me move it slightly so that I can see it. There. Now this is the depth. So I just use that to make a small nick. Let's see. Yes. So now I have my mark. So I need to cut that off. So that we are getting close to completion, but this is obviously, for me, this was the most complicated part, to make the top drawers. I knew that this is going to be complicated, but it was more complicated than I thought, or like I made it like some of the mistakes I made that made it more complicated. But at the end, like once it comes out, it's I'll cross cut this. I'll still have a very clean joint by planing this. I left the, see the knife line that side. So idea is that I could use my number 4, which is pretty sharp. I've done that, but I have a low angle. I invested it on it, so does work slightly better on end grain. And the Veritas PMV11 blade does hold the edge pretty well. So okay, now I need to take out the other piece and work on my dado on that side. And this side is still taller, meaning like when I put this in, I will just flush this against that this groove. I leave it taller here. After gluing, like I will come at the end and just plane it down. So and be careful like when clamping with this groove cut. So like if you are like clamping to up here, it may break that walls. They are a little bit weakened now. The reason I'm lifting off like this towards the end is because I'm not trying to chisel it right up to the wall and break it. That again weakens that wall. So I am going near to that wall and lifting off like splits those fibers. So I keep this here, almost like going underneath that, because it's better to have it like very tight than very loose, because I can always take a few shavings there, get it to fit perfectly. it's not loose. That's why I said it's good. I think this is going very good. Do I do one final dry run? I should, because if I start gluing and just realize that this length was not accurate, what happens then? That's ideally like how the drawer should look like, but then I have to again make sure and I get the angles, see everything, double checking before the final glue up. This could move slightly on the other side. Now this side. Yeah. So before I start tapping it, let's see the distance. 12 3/4. 12 3/4. This is good. I'm not worried about that part. So, but what I have to do is, let's see. Looks fine. Let's see this angle. I'll do the exact same thing when I glue this. This is good. So I will start the glue up now because I feel like this is all good. I start with the right side dovetail. So let me clamp this in. You can clamp it this way. I keep saying this, the dovetails actually don't require too much glue for strength, but I still put more glue than needed because it starts swelling, like especially when you start with a tight dovetail joint and glue has water, so if starts swelling, so it will become tighter. So putting a little bit more glue does help with that, lubricate it, and so that we can seat the joints properly. That's the whole goal. The base of that joint I still put glue, that is not needed, but I will also put on the end grain on this side. The reason being this will slide and I need that to be lubricated as well. I'm putting glue on the end grain, as I said, purely because this will help this slide quickly. And I will put on this surface also. Again checking, this is R, this is R, this thing should, the groove should line up. This will start setting in. I still have to hammer tap and bring it to the proper angle. Next part is the housing, the dado part. One bead of glue. Now ideally, like once the dado, like I start putting pressure on this, the glue is going to squeeze out and spread on the walls, but I still spread it a little bit. I have good and nice tight dado joint, so this is not going anywhere. Okay, I didn't put any mark here, not a good way to tell. This is the cross, so that will go on the other side, so this must be here. Now I need to align this part. That's it. Now before I put this in, I have to also put glue on the dado. That is good enough. Before I tap this in, I have to make sure this is yeah. Let me wipe off the excess glue. This is not seated in yet. I have glued it. I made one. I forgot to do one thing. I should have cut the side ones to length. Now that I have already glued in, nothing to. I can only cut it at the end, so that's fine. I forgot that. I have to tap it harder because like the glue has started to set in. So I have no choice but to tap like. But once I get the angles right, this should be pretty good. I did it too much, but this is fine. Let me see the other side. This is fine. So now I just need to put the clamps. Before I start putting too much pressure, I have to make sure I counter the pressure from other sides, otherwise it's going to I have put like good amount of pressure on the back joint, so I'm going to check again. Has it shifted anything? No, it's fine. At least that side is fine. Let me see on this side. It's all good. That's it. I don't want to put more pressure than that. Could alter the angles one last time. Good. I'm happy. Wipe off the excess on the. So I could have cut, as I was saying, I could have cut this to length before. Now it's going to be difficult, but I can do it. I forgot. But the one thing I didn't do intentionally is like cutting the arc on the front. It would obviously be much easier to clamp and cut that arc before this, but what if I am not like accurate when I am final fitting? So I will do the final fit, mark the pencil lines and cut the arc. It's difficult to clamp, but I can still cut the arc. I have done that on the other drawer. So if there is like it twists or I have like the angles are not accurate, then I can still use this as the reality and cut the arc based on that, so that it sits flush against the drawer. And if it is all accurate, then this is quite thick piece, and I may try to salvage say 1/4 of an inch. It's peely, so I can use it for some other project. So yeah, we'll wait for this to dry. It should not take too long, but I'll still give like 2 or 3 hours. So I'll leave it here. All right, we are getting close.